All right, Brian. So we've agreed that you and your wife both need $15 million in insurance.
That's right.
How does that number sound to you guys?
Still sounds about right.
Okay, perfect. And how did we get to that number?
Well, if I remember, a lot of it was just income replacement. We both
Yeah.
have pretty good jobs. And
Us both have great jobs.
obviously, we still have some outstanding on the home and things like college planning and some of the other areas that we wanted to make sure we're taken care of. So
Okay, perfect.
that's what I remember from last time.
Yeah, I think we're definitely on the same page there.
Sounds good.
So, second part of the process, obviously, we've got a number in mind. Now it's finding the right type. We want to make sure that we're covering our permanent issues with permanent insurance and making sure that we're taking care of temporary issues with temporary problems and not paying too much on the insurance side of things. So, what's your knowledge on the different types of life insurance?
Got sold a whole life policy from a Northwestern guy
Nice.
about 20 years ago or so.
Okay.
And then I know there's the term policies, which is like the one that I get through work.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, exactly right. The term is very similar to what you get through work. What are your thoughts and opinions on that old whole life policy? You like it?
I mean, if we're being honest, I don't know if anyone's ever said they like insurance, right? So, it's there because I know I need it, but
Okay.
it doesn't get me excited.
Perfect. And why did you buy that originally?
So that my wife didn't have to go into a homeless shelter after I die.
Okay, so it's for the death benefit.
Mhm.
Okay, got it. So you're on the right track there. There's two main types of life insurance: temporary or term insurance and permanent insurance. As far as term insurance goes, it's exactly how it sounds. It's like renting an apartment, if you will. You pay for that extended amount, whether it's 10, 15, 20, 30 years, and when the term's up, the insurance goes away.
Gotcha.
Similar to work, as you mentioned. If you move jobs for whatever reason, then again, that term is up, insurance goes away.
Makes sense.
So, like I said, term insurance, a lot like renting an apartment. Permanent insurance is going to be a lot more like renting or owning a home.
Okay.
As you pay into that policy, as you probably have seen with your whole life policy, you pay your premium every month. A bit of that goes to keeping the policy in force, and then the rest of it goes to building up that cash value inside of that policy. Have you noticed that over the years?
Yeah, and I think I'm trying to remember what it's doing now, if it pays for additional insurance or what those additions do.
Gotcha. And definitely something that we can take a look at for you if it's a policy you haven't reviewed in some time.
It's honestly, I don't even know what the guy's name is anymore. Met him 20 years ago at a networking meeting and haven't heard from him since.
Nice. Sold you a nice big insurance policy and haven't heard from him since.
Yep.
Classic Northwestern Mutual. So, those additions in your whole life policy are dividends, more or less.
Okay.
They kind of work as a tax return, if you will. At the end of every year, the insurance policy says, "Hey, appreciate you being a loyal customer. Here's X amount. You can choose it to
Gotcha.
maybe go to buy up more insurance, build up a cash value, pay down premiums, a couple different things that goes into things that we can take a look at on that policy for you."
Okay.
So that's the first type of permanent insurance. The next three are going to be very similar as to the policy itself. The big difference is going to be how the cash value grows.
Gotcha.
So are you familiar with universal life? Have you heard that term?
No.
Okay, gotcha. So when whole life came out, obviously people loved the fact that it's permanent there for the rest of your life and it grows cash value. Over the years, as insurance has evolved, if you will, the big difference is how that cash value grows. So traditional universal life came out in the 80s. It's based on interest rates. What do we know about interest rates in the 80s?
I think they were pretty. I guess they were. Yeah, they were. They were pretty good.
Yeah, they were high. What do we know about them now?
Well, they just dropped again, so I didn't know they could get lower, but I guess they can.
Yeah, we don't get a whole lot in our savings accounts nowadays as far as interest rates go. So, what's a more efficient way that we can find or that we can build that cash value? They look towards indexes. So, index universal life, it's going to work a lot like universal. Your cash value grows based on an index. S&P 500, Russell 2000 indexes. I'm sure that you're probably familiar with.
Okay.
And then finally is variable universal life. That's going to work a lot more like an investment account. So to your point of nobody ever likes to talk about insurance, as it's evolved over the years, this is why people are starting to think of policies like the variable universal life as how folks start to look at insurance as more of an investment than just a cost that you throw out the door every
Sounds
month.
like what my Northwestern Mutual guy said back in the 80s.
Yeah, right. So any questions on the different types as I've ran through them today?
So what type of, you mentioned the portfolio for that variable one. What types of investments? That stocks or?
So you've got, right now you can choose from about 90 different funds. And yeah, those can be U.S. equity funds, they can be bond funds, international. Truly lets you kind of build a portfolio like an investment account rather than, hoping that the company is going to pay you dividends
Okay.
as an investment.
Gotcha. And now do I have to choose that or how does that work?
So that's going to be, it's going to be a little bit different for all of our clients. Some people like to be a little bit more hands-on. Some folks like to say, you guys are the professionals, build me a portfolio that's diversified, that's going to give me some growth, but some safety in the market as well. So,
Gotcha.
If that's a policy that's interesting to you from an investment side of things, that's conversations that we can have down the road.
Okay.
What other questions do you have about any of that so far?
What would you recommend?
Yeah, great question. So, as I mentioned before, we want to make sure that you and your wife have a pretty big need for insurance, but it's not all going to be there for the rest of your life. So we want to make sure that we're being cost efficient with temporary issues and covering what we know we want covered for the rest of our life in permanent insurance. So before I answer that question, what different types of policies stick out to you as?
Well, definitely the variable one.
Okay.
I like the sound of that.
Hold 1 second. This is Ben, by the way. If y'all have time, Ben's about to wrap up his SIE. Be in the office.
Ben?
Yeah, we met.
Oh yeah, Brian, Johnny.
Nice to meet you, man.
Good seeing you, man.
I don't think you paused it, so.
Is it still going?
I think it's still going.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, definitely that variable one. That sounded
Okay.
it's like something I hadn't heard of before.
All right.
And then you mentioned that the term was the cheapest, which I guess maybe a little bit of that one as well too, just so it doesn't break the bank trying to get that full 15 million of insurance we need.
Right.
Or
Okay,
30
perfect.
million if we're talking about both of us, I guess.
Yeah. And the variable sticks out to you because of the investment side of things, or?
Yeah. I know that I need to have that 15 million just for the insurance side. Would love to actually see some sort of benefit to me other than just if I die, it goes to my wife and kids.
Right. Perfect. So you answered your question for me. You asked, what would you recommend based on your interest in the variable life as well as making sure we're being cost efficient. We'll do a mix of both. And here's how that looks. Insert bell curve.
Good job.